So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at a very cool, very popular pen, and that is the Lamy 2000 Ballpoint. This line of pens is usually known for its fountain pen, but the Ballpoint is actually one of the more popular pens in the series, and it's also the one that comes in the most variations. We have the standard Lamy 2000 Ballpoint, which is what I have right here. But there's also a stainless steel version, two different wood versions, a titanium version, a ceramic version. It's actually a really interesting pen if you want to dig into the history of it. But for this video, I'll be looking at the standard version, which is the Lamy 2000 Ballpoint in Macrolon. That's this black material. It's basically a fiberglass or a reinforced plastic, and it is sort of the standard material these pens are sold in. And the design has been around since 1966. Obviously, it's pretty iconic. It's in MoMA and those sort of things. So I'll stick with the standard model now, that we can talk about the other ones in the future. The shape is obviously like sort of torpedo shaped, I guess I would say, with a slightly wider middle, really steep taper towards the bottom. If anyone has criticism of the Lamy 2000 line, it's often that it's so tapered. It's figuring out where to hold the pen can be difficult. Has the standard Lamy 2000 clip, which is this steel clip, and it's spring loaded. Again, it's a click retractable ballpoint. Steel front section, just like on the fountain pen, some of the other versions. And it does come apart. So basically this one, it does not come apart here, it comes apart here at this seam. And you could open it up to see the Lamy M16 refill. And that's probably the single biggest downside with this pen, is that it uses a proprietary refill that is extremely difficult to put something in its place. So you're basically stuck with the Lamy M16 refill. Other features, again, we have the nice clip with the sprung design, very cool. It does come apart here as well, and that way you can take the top section off and you could adjust the clip. And I'll do a separate video on that because it's worth doing a better tutorial on it. The button is metal. I believe it's also steel, and the steel is brushed to match the brushed steel here. The Macrolon is brushed, and it has this sort of these striations or these lines down it, which are very nice. A good way to tell how much usage your Lamy 2000 has seen is to look at the pen. If it looks glossy like this one, then it's probably seen a lot of use. Just like holding it and that sort of thing, absorption of oils, just like rubbing it on a desk, that will make it look glossy, and it's almost always an older pen. If it looks more dusky or like more gray and matte, it's a newer pen. Here's a Lamy 2000 rollerball that is definitely not new, but it's seen less use than this ballpoint. And here, even under this really imperfect lighting, you can see that it has a lot grayer of a look to it. Again, this is not new, but it's a fair bit newer and seen less use than this ballpoint. And it's not that the ballpoint is in bad shape. It's actually in really good shape. There's no gouges or scratches in this Macrolon. It is a fairly sturdy material, but it's kind of nice to see it in this lighter, this gray tone, and to sort of age it yourself. The Lamy 2000 Ballpoint in the standard model like this sells for about $62 these days, maybe give or take. You can't really find a deal if you buy it off Amazon or eBay or something like that. You know, if you buy it used, then you could find them in like the $35 to $50 range. But on like online new, you're basically spending about $60. But like I said, there is a really good, vibrant online used market for the pen. Just you want to make sure you're finding one that's in good condition and not too beat up. They have been made, for 40 years now, but there haven't been really drastic changes in the design. So you're good buying whatever, as long as in a condition you're happy with. That's not true of the fountain pen, where you want to really avoid some of the older models. Size-wise, I think it's actually a really nice size. It's a light pen, much lighter than it would look, much lighter than most pens in the price range. So I actually find it to be very pleasant to use. Here it is next to the rollerball. Rollerball is definitely a larger pen. Here's the rollerball uncapped. Now we're very similar in size. See what else is on my desk. Here is a Sharpie for reference, kind of in that Sharpie size class, just kind of a little fatter in the middle. And here we have a Lamy Ion. Larger pen, much newer design. And see what else. This is a Pilot Friction. So there you go for references. As for using the pen, like I said, I actually found it to be fairly comfortable. Again, I always feel confused about where to hold it. That's just a problem with the Lamy 2000. It either bothers you or it doesn't. I would say sometimes it bothers me, but most of the time I could just grab this and write with it, because I'm not expecting, you know, some immaculate, perfect experience. Just a ballpoint. I grab it, click it, start writing. That's how I use the ballpoint. So it doesn't bother me the way with the fountain pen, sort of you're worrying a little bit more about how you're writing, and then having a grip that's not where you want it to be can be a little off-putting. I will say that this piece right here is a little bit sharp. So sometimes you'll grab the pen and you'll have it over here. It'll kind of gouge your hand like this. It's not like it's gonna rip your hand open, but it is definitely pointy. I haven't gone so far as to file that down yet, but I could see doing that in the future if you don't plan on reselling the pen. Past that, no real problems with it. Nice weight, very comfortable. I don't find it to be very slippery. Nice click. It's actually a surprisingly nice click action. I don't really think of Lamy as a pen company that has a lot of clicky pens. So nice job there. And then, yeah, the M16, it kind of is what it is. I really don't love it. I wish I could put a gel refill in here, but it is fine. And then if I do want a gel refill, obviously you have the Lamy 2000 rollerball. I would kind of like the click with a gel, but you know, that is what it is. And I'm gonna try to find a good replacement for that M16, and I'll do a video on that if I could figure it out. It is exceedingly difficult to put a different refill in the place of that one. As for writing, I would say just make sure you have a newer M16. If you have a newer one, then it's actually not a bad refill. If you get an old one, then it can be really sluggish and unpleasant. So this is the Lamy 2000 M16 black medium. It's actually writing fairly nicely. The newer M16s are solid rollerball refills, solid ballpoint refills, especially in the medium and fine. The fine it can be surprisingly smooth. The broad with oil-based ink, so the ballpoint ink, it actually gets rather sluggish. So I'm fine with this. You know, again, I would personally like to see a gel, but that's more about my personal preference and just like wanting to be able to switch it up. It's not so much that I have a problem with the M16. My problem is that I'm stuck with the M16. So I guess this thing has a little bit of a scratch there, super minor. But yeah, M16 doing its job nicely, no complaints. If you have ill will towards the M16, or you felt like Monteverdi refills were the better option, try to get some newer ones. I think you'll be happy with them. Definitely changes have been made in that ink over the past couple of years. Okay, as for my verdict for the Lamy 2000 ballpoint, I've always sort of avoided this pen. I never thought I needed one, just because I had the Lamy 2000 rollerball, and I had a Lamy 2000 fountain pen, and then I was just like, what do I need it for? I picked it up. It's actually a nice ballpoint. For $60, I don't think it's worth it. If you could buy one used in the $35, $40 range, I think it's a pretty good pickup. And it's just a nice pen for everyday use. Are there better pens out there for the same money or way less? Yeah, there definitely are. But it's got a nice look to it, good construction, comfortable to use, and it's definitely withstood the test of time. And then I would just say that the resale value on these is insane. So if you buy it for, $35, $45 and you don't like it, you're probably going to get $35 or $40 after a year for it. So no promises there. eBay and these other online auction houses can be very fickle. I mean, obviously we'll have some selling fees and shipping fees that get you, but it's a pretty low risk purchase. So yeah, that is the Lamy 2000 ballpoint. Thanks for watching.